You're listening to Talk Radio Europe.
The TRE Book Show is sponsored by Audible. Click on the Audible banner on the talkradioeurope.com homepage to download your free audiobook today. Terms and conditions apply.
The Book Programme. Presented by Hanna Murray.
Joining us on the line from Greece is Patricia Wilson. She was born in Liverpool, has lived on Crete and is now settled on Rhodes. She's back with us on the book show to talk about her latest novel, Summer in Greece. It's set in both the present day and also in 1916. Welcome to the book show, Patricia.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here again.
It's great to have you back with us. How have you been?
Very well, very well. Yes, amazing writing stuff, you know.
Yes, had a year with a bit more time, perhaps, haven't we?
Yes, we have. And with lockdown, of course, it's been. I've been at the desk more.
Yes, good stuff. So the latest book then, Summer in Greece, as I said, It's set in two different time periods, if you like. So let's talk about the present day, first of all. And Summer is actually the name of a person.
Yes, Shelley Summer. She's a vet and she cares very greatly for animals, but she has a very troubled past. So she buries herself in her work, trying to forget about the awful things that happened when she was younger. And the only time she feels truly herself is when she's diving in the Mediterranean. I don't want to give too much away, but the thing that troubles her so much has to do with the sea.
Okay. And her great-grandmother is Gertie Smith, and she's the main character in the bit set in 1916.
Yes, she is indeed. She is. And I didn't know anything about this, I have to say, until I started researching World War One. I mean, the suffragettes and women wearing trousers for the first time in their lives, you know, and gosh, it was such a revelation to me that so much changed in that one decade, really, for women.
Yeah. And why did you decide to set part of it there then?
Well, I discovered, you know, I'm from Liverpool, from Merseyside, from the Wirral. But in Wirral, in Liverpool, we have a great seafaring history. And I learned that this great ship, the sister ship of the Titanic, sailed out from Liverpool and sank in the Aegean. Well, I'm always looking for a link between Britain and Greece, and there it was. So I started looking into this great ship that was going to be really spectacular, certainly more spectacular even than the Titanic. And I discovered that it was commissioned by the British government and used as a hospital ship to bring our wounded soldiers back from Gallipoli in the Mediterranean. So it all seemed to go together. I got so excited about it all and did more and more research. And I discovered that one of the things that was reputed to have sunk this majestic ship that was supposed to be like the Titanic, unsinkable, was that a nurse had opened the portholes in the lower deck.
Oh, really? My goodness.
And I thought, you know, this ship is 900 feet long. How can a few open portholes sink it? And so I started to investigate. And yes, so the story developed. So I found out more and more about young women in Britain who, you know, were corseted up and cosseted and, you know, it was awful, really. How they found their freedom, their liberty through the First World War, and how they joined up as trainee nurses. They joined the VADs, the VADs, and they learnt nursing. And at first, all they did was clean bedpans and make beds, you know, and clean floors. But there became such a great shortage of nurses because so many were wounded. I mean, there were thousands and thousands of men were killed in the First World War. It's horrendous.
Yeah.
And so these inexperienced young women, they were taught more and more procedures, and medicine itself was developing so rapidly at that time. I mean, they didn't know how to do blood transfusions, and I've put that in the book, actually, that they transferred blood from animals into soldiers who had lost limbs, you know, and then they slowly but surely discovered that there were blood groups, and that blood group O was suitable for almost all injuries, and that soldiers are dying simply from loss of blood. Wow. And so nurses and doctors and people volunteered while a man was bleeding to death to transfuse their own blood into them. And that's quite an incredible thing, I think.
Oh, definitely.
And those people, they didn't get medals, you know, and yet they did these amazing things to save people's lives.
Oh, it's incredible, isn't it? It's a really interesting thought, how they would have discovered about all the different blood types and what goes with what. And yeah, it makes sense. The only way to discover it is to experiment and see what works and what doesn't. Yeah.
I mean, 75% of soldiers who broke a limb died because the splint that saved those lives was only in its beginnings, you know, to splint a leg that had been shattered by bullet or piece of shrapnel. All that was going on, and the Spanish flu that certainly killed more people than COVID.
Yeah.
All that was happening in these few short years. And so I got completely wrapped up in the research, and steadily a story came together, yes.
Oh, brilliant. Must be very difficult once you really start getting into the research like that to pull yourself away and start writing, is it?
It is, because, as you know, I'm dyslexic, and writing isn't exactly a thrill for me, but telling a story is, you know. And the more I learned, the more I wanted to put in my book. And I have this amazing editor, Sarah Bauer, and she takes me by the scruff of the neck, you know, and says, you know, this. We don't want to know this. We just want to know the basic things. And I want to tell everybody everything because it's so fascinating.
Yeah.
And she really whips me into shape.
Yeah. So how long have you been living on Rhodes now for?
Let me see, about 5 or 6 years. Yes, yeah. I came over from Crete.
Oh, how lovely. And how has it been in the past year? Have you had a lot of lockdowns and things like everywhere else?
We've had very strict lockdowns. We have been really under the thumb of this thing. We are not allowed out of our gate without a piece of paper saying where we're going, how long we'll be, who we're meeting, or on our phones, of course. And the police have stopped people, and people are instantly fined. And today is the first day of freedom.
Oh, wow.
That's why I'm off to the local taverna, because, you know, you like to support your local community.
Oh, well, you have a lovely day. Enjoy.
I certainly will.
Well, if people want to get a copy of Summer in Greece, it's available now. It's on our website, tre.radio, so listeners can get a copy from there. It's by Patricia Wilson, who we've been chatting to again. Patricia, thanks so much for joining us, and happy Freedom Day.
Oh, thank you. Just one more thing. Can I say something really quickly?
Sure.
I often get messages from people who say, oh, I love the book and I've just lent it to my sister-in-law, or I love the book and I've just lent it to the local book club, and I just want to say that because of cutbacks, councils are looking to save some money at the moment, and our libraries in Britain, that great institution, the public library, it's under threat. So please don't lend your book out. Tell people to go to the library and get it.
Okay.
And that's one way we can save our libraries from disappearing.
Yeah, definitely. That's very, very important.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Patricia.
You're very welcome, and thank you. It's been nice to speak to you again.
The Book Programme. Presented by Hanna Murray.
TRE